the department of Lambayeque to the city of Chiclayo for this special family event. So the north of Peru is characterized by some really interesting details. Number one, when we think in the north of Peru, we think in warm people. People in the north are very warm, very, very huggy, kissy. They are very also, they speak out loud. They are very, very, very nice people. They are jokers, natural jokers. They are really, really the best people of the country in terms of humor, good humor. And also another thing you will hear a lot, Peruvian people will say about the northern people of Peru, is that the food here is the best. We have a wonderful cuisine in this part of the country. So, Chiclayo, the city where I am, and by the way, what I'm trying to show is that there is a gathering. Usually, the main squares are places for reunions, for conversations, for activities, for exchanging your thoughts, especially about politics. And because in this moment we are preparing for voting for our municipals. We are going to choose mayor. So there are a lot of political campaigns happening in this moment, like gatherings, people talking about what they will do if they become mayors. Most of the time, those are just promises. They never come true. But anyways, this is a time very important. So people are now gathering to talk about politics. So that's what is happening there. So the history of Chiclayo. So now you know I am in Chiclayo. I hope you were able to... Oh, no map, Mary? No map? So no worries. I am in Chiclayo and I will show you a map. Do you want to see a map? So let me show you this map. Okay, so I'm prepared just in case, always just in case. So there you can see a map that I'm sharing with you in the comment section, okay? So that is Peru, right? The upper image is Peru, divided in 24 departments. We are in the department of Lambayeque, and in the second map below is Lambayeque divided in provinces. We are in the province called Chiclayo. So Chiclayo, the name Chiclayo probably comes from a native language called Muchik. Muchik language is an extinct language. Don't worry, Mary. Thanks for also letting me know that the map was not available. So an extinct language is not anymore in use. It's not like Quechua. Quechua, the language of the Incas, is still in use. We have people using it every day, talking to their kids in Quechua. But that's not the case with the Muchik. The Muchik language is an extinct language. It was officially extinct in the beginnings of the 20th century. And we know that Chiclayo probably comes from that language. And there are two interpretations. One of them probably is related with a translation into English would be a place between two sides, Chiclayo, or fruits, green fruit from a tree, right? So these two interpretations are probable interpretations. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly the meaning. When the Spanish conquistadors came, they changed a lot the names, the local names, and when eventually they were so changed that finally we are not able to know exactly what they mean, right? So now I'm going to turn the camera to the other side for you to see what's around, and I will also tell you where I am exactly and what buildings are around me. So in a moment I'm going to come back to the story of Chiclayo, just to let you know that we are in the main square of Chiclayo city, and always main squares have city halls, right? So this is the city hall of Chiclayo. The architecture around this zone is at the most, the oldest is beginnings of the 20th century. We have some few constructions that are from the end of the 19th century, but not really many. And the reason is because Chiclayo was really not characterized as one of the biggest cities or most powerful cities in Peru in the colonial times of Peru, because it was a city that was on the way between Tumbes in the northernmost extreme of Peru and Cajamarca. And we know that Conquistador Francisco Pizarro passed through this city, but he didn't see a big city here. He didn't see a huge city or an Incan city or let's say an indigenous town here. What Francisco Pizarro saw when he came here was just a small town, a place on the way to Cajamarca, where he loaded his horses, with some food. He was able to eat something, and then, rest a little bit. And then after he went into the Andes, into the zone that now we call Cajamarca, where he met Inca Atahualpa. So this place was historic. It was a historic location. So I'm going a little bit distant so I can show you once again the cathedral, the facade of the cathedral for those that were not able to see it minutes ago. For those that are joining, by the way, thank you so much for coming to this very short tour to this beautiful part of the country of Peru. This is the cathedral, by the way, of Cajamarca, very modern. So part of the wealth of the north of Peru, and in particular this region of Peru, is the agriculture. So the reason why the architecture you see in this part of the country is new is because Chiclayo was pretty much in the radar, economical radar of Peru since the end of the 18th century, and mainly the wealth source of this land was related with the land, the soil, agriculture, in particular sugar cane, my friends. Here we have lots of let's say businesses that are based on sugar cane. So I think instead of going over there, we're going around over here so I can show you some other businesses. Would you like to see the businesses, the local businesses in this section? And also, if you have a question, my friends, please share it with me. No worries. Don't be shy. I am your local Hego guide of Lima City. I am a Limeña, born and raised in Lima. The reason why I'm here is because of a family gathering. But, I just want to share with you this part of the country, which is so different to my city. And also, I learned a little bit about the history of Chiclayo. Long time ago when I became a tour guide, we tour guides learn a little bit about everything in our countries. So that's why also I'm today sharing a little bit of this piece of history with you all. And our cinema, by the way, this used to be the cinema of Chiclayo. Nowadays, not anymore. So economically, Chiclayo had a time of bonanza, a boom, an economic wealth, let's say, in the beginnings of the 20th century because of the sugarcane plantations, especially the land, the soil produced a lot of wealth here. But also there were times when the economy got, let's say, bad. No? So that's why you will not see, let's say, a great deal of wealth in the architecture in this part. But I think it's important to notice that cities like, for example, this one or many other, which are also big in population, can be also like this, way more modest, than other big cities in Peru. Chiclayo, by the way, has about 600,000 inhabitants. 600,000 inhabitants, and is the 5th largest city in the country. The biggest city in Peru is, of course, my city, Lima. So Sharon is commenting. Thanks, Sharon, for your question. What is the most important export from this area, and where do you primarily export? Gracias, Sharon. So first of all, as you know, we still are focused in agriculture. Rice is now very important. Rice has replaced sugar cane, right? But we consume also most of this rice locally. The rice from the north is considered to be the most important, let's say, product that we consume in the whole Peru. But also we export. We export to the region. We export also to North America, so far I know, right? Our rice. But also fruits like avocados, for example, from this region, bananas, still sugar cane, also artichokes. This section of Peru still is very, very famous for agriculture. What are the white bands around the trees in the park? Very good question, Sue. By the way, I will answer in a moment, Sue, just to show you this. This architecture you see over here is from the 1940s, 1950s. So this is architecture that was adapted to become later businesses or shops, but these used to be houses. These were casas, houses of well-off families that used to be located around this section. So what is this, is asking Sue, this white paint here. So let me tell you what this is. And everywhere, in every plaza in Lima, in my city, in most of the cities, the big cities in the country, you're going to see trees painted white. So I have asked to the gardeners of these different plazas, no, when they were also fixing and cleaning. So I asked them, why you do that? Why you paint the trees like that? So some were not really sure. Like they say, because we were given the order to paint them like that. Okay. So other gardeners said, oh, well, it's because when we paint the trees like this in white, the bugs don't climb up the trees. So, well, it could be valid. I am not sure if this is really, true, but that's what the gardener said. And another gardener said, and this was very curious, but it happened, I remember it was a tree section very close to the avenue. And he said, well, we paint the trees like this because when they are drunken drivers, so the paint reflects better the light from the car so they can see better the trees, because if not, they can hit the trees. So I am not very sure which one was the correct answer. Like, we just do it because we think it's nice and we should keep doing like that, or the other options that I mentioned. So by the way, this section, thanks for your questions, by the way. Muchas gracias, amigos. Over here we have Banco Pichincha. Banco Pichincha is an Ecuadorian, it's Banco Ecuatoriano. Pichincha is, by the way, a region in Ecuador. So this is also a very important building, as you can see, quite impressive, even bigger building than other banks we have in this zone. By the way, if you were wondering, in this moment, let me check the time in Lima, in Chiclayo, not in Lima, but the whole country has the same time. It is 7:45. I'm checking on my watch. 7:45 p.m. Or 7:21 p.m. I think. Well, just I think we started the tour at 7:30. I was just running to this location, so I'm a little bit confused. But it's about 7:40 something, right? So, Sue, oh yes, you like this, Sue? Yes, it looks really nice, right? Very, very nice decoration. Remember, this is the main plaza of Chiclayo. So Chiclayo, you know already that in the times of the indigenous of this location, the Inca, pre-Incas, it was not really a very, very big city. It was not the biggest of the north. It was a small pathway, way between the north through Tumbes and the Andes, Cajamarca. By the way, that's another bank. This is a Peruvian bank, Interbank. I don't know if you like better the building, this one here, or the other Banco Pichincha. I think this one looks very nice, but it breaks a lot the design around the whole square. Don't you think that? Like, it's very, very, different. It looks like, I don't know, very, very fine neighborhood in Lima style, not like historic architecture that you see around the plaza. Later, after the coming of the conquistadors, we know that there used to be here a group of Franciscans who created a doctrina, a reducción or reservation of indigenous, and they taught in this location, and in their own ways, in the fashion of the Franciscans, the faith, the Catholic faith. Also, the Franciscan had a very important presence in this location. But still, remember, this was a small town. So now I'm getting closer to some little streets because I want to show you something really interesting. So this place, this city, because it was not really a major one until recent times, it was not designed square, right? It was not designed square. The streets around the main square, for example, they don't go straight. They go curvy. And you know why? One of the historians, expert in the history of Chiclayo, mentions that it is because the mules, there used to be mules that used to pass constantly across this section, because this was a place on the way, right, between two important cities. The mules were the ones who made the streets, right? So it was not really designed by the people. It was like an organic presence, let's say, of streets appearing because of the mules, that were walking up and down, right? So here we have a view of the cathedral in front and the city hall over there. So we have also some other buildings besides the Interbank, which is over here. We have a club, the Union Club, which is in this direction over there, right? And finally, we're going to come in a moment to the end of this event, showing you the commercial section of Chiclayo. So how is the commercial section of this district? So first of all, this is the commercial street of Chiclayo. It's the most important street in terms of commerce. Look at, recently inaugurated here in 2020. It was inaugurated or re-inaugurated as a pedestrian street. It took a lot to be finished, to be honest, because all of the modifications started before the pandemic. So unfortunately, the pandemic delayed a lot the improvement of this section. So, for example, at nighttime, what local people in Chiclayo like to do, besides going maybe to a karaoke, maybe to a bar, a nightclub, we love to eat. And we eat Peruvian food, yes, but also if we can eat a sandwich or a pizza, fast food, that could be also a good option, right? So people are queuing for a sandwich, for tacos, for enchiladas, for even Mexican food. So, say mi pieza, people, say you again. So, here, in the commercial street, you can see also that even at this time in the night, oh yes, George, it is the same. We are the same time, I think. Oh well, no, we are an hour before. It's 7:50, around 7:50. So, well, in this section, you're going to see that even at this time, so it's a little bit before 8 p.m., we have lots of commerce open. We are little by little recovering from the pandemic also, so businesses are reopening. Remember that this is the fifth biggest city in Peru, and this is a starting point for many people who are planning to start trips based in archaeology in the north of the country. We have lots of archaeological sites north and south of Chiclayo. We have an airport. I came earlier today by a plane, and the flight from Lima took about 1 hour. So it was a really, really good, fast flight from Lima to Chiclayo, and from Chiclayo you can go to different locations in much northern or southern. You can go to see archaeological sites, museums, etc. So we have lots of hotels in this section as well, and I am planning also to do another tour this weekend. I am not sure the exact time I'm going to be doing this tour, because it really depends on, well, a little bit of the availability of the day, but I want to also show you a bit more of this location. I really hope you enjoy this tour. It was really last minute. It was not planned, but I wanted to share this experience with you all. Thank you also for your support, for your friendship, also for coming to my tours in Lima. I am your guide in Lima City, in Lima, Peru. But sometimes I get to travel, and because I love so much the community, I try to share my trips with you all as much as possible. If you would like to support also your channel of Lima, if you want to support your guide and Hego at the same time, you can do it also with a little support, like a tip, for example. You can also become a sponsor of this channel if you wish. Of course, that helps a lot. You can also follow my channel if you wish. If you're new to my channel, you're going to see in the upper part a button that says follow. You can also share, comment. That helps really a lot. Thank you so much for coming to this tour, for coming with me. I hope to see you soon. If you can, please activate also a follow to this tour, because I will be using the same link for this couple of days to do another event. See? Thanks a lot, amigos. Muchas gracias. Thanks for your participation, and hope to see you soon in another event here in Peru. Maybe here in Chiclayo, maybe somewhere else. Who knows? Okay? So, best to you all. Take care, amigos, and muchas gracias. See you soon. Gracias, Peggy. Thank you so much for your tip support. It really helps a lot. Muchas gracias, amigos. Until the next time, take care. Bye-bye.